Well, I'm back. Hopefully you haven't had the time to miss me. And, oh, they controlled the underground path and the cops shut it down, so that's why it was locked. But then, what about the other one? And why didn't they cut it off as well, I wonder? But that's not very important. It's just a freaking underground path. Who cares? Anyway, I was talking about the slops and props of Hard Gold and Soul Silver near the end of the last video. I've mentioned Mismagius and Honchkrow, among others, and while Nasty Plot and Brave Bird are indeed popular options on them, they aren't actually redefining how to play those Pokemon, especially Honchkrow, because Honchkrow had Drill Peck, and Drill Peck still remains better than Brave Bird. Better, I mean more popular, but if it's more popular, it ought to be better, especially since it's not especially close. But in essence, the reason why Brave Bird is so popular on something like Staraptor is because the next best choice is Aerial Ace with only 60 power, whereas Honchkrow at least has Drill Peck, so at least it has a more powerful non-recoil option than Staraptor has. So in the end, Drill Peck wins out and Honchkrow's usage stayed about the same. So with all those flops, what actually increased? There aren't so many Pokemon out there that were significant to begin with and had a worthwhile increase. Most of the Pokemon that had big boosts were Pokemon that were practically never seen to begin with. I'm thinking of stuff like Whiscash and Crawdaunt. Both of them obtained Dragon Dance, and they're by far their most popular move. And the fact is that each month they had like 300, 400 uses each, whereas now it's around 2,000 once again for both. So their usage was actually multiplied by 4, 5, but the fact is they were never seen to begin with, and they aren't seen that much right now either, so I don't know if it's really worthwhile to mention them, though I think I'm going to have to talk about them in my winners and losers column because of all the flops that actually occurred. At least those two have a lot more success since Hard Gold and Soul Silver came out, and we can't take that away from them. But as for good Pokemon getting better, there weren't that many of them. The most obvious one is Aggron with Head Smash, which rose not enough to get into overuse, but it's still, I think, 59th or such, so that's rather close for a Pokemon you didn't see much of in the past. And there was also Cradily, which, well, it wasn't such a big increase, but it was like 101st in August, and oh, we got a phone call here. Okay, and it's for a rematch, so I'm gonna take care of it right now. Right after I go all the way back through Victory Road. So, we're on Route 26 now, and as I said, I didn't show you the trip through Victory Road, though it's not a very long trip to go backwards. It's still, well, long enough that you could get bored rather easily, especially since I've been there before, you've seen it all. And yeah, I was talking about Cradily. I think it was 101st in August, and now it's 84th. Not such a huge increase, but it's still one of the most notable ones, which is pretty sad when you think about it. The reason for that is obviously the fact that it obtained Curse, which is probably the move that it needed to become more used, as Sandstorm can already take care of a special defense, so Curse can take care of attack and defense. Whereas, usually, a Swords Dance, Cradily would be able to attack well, but be lacking in terms of defense, and Cosmic Power boosted both defenses, but Cradily couldn't attack so well anymore. So Curse is exactly what the doctor ordered, in a way. And there was also Extreme Speed Dragonite. Extreme Speed is almost Dragonite's most popular move at this point. Previously it had a lifetime subscription to the 40s, but now it's number 25 this month. Not bad. And the increase in Dragonite usage also indicates that its most direct competition, that being Salamence, fell down quite a bit. It didn't fall down so much in terms of percentage, but it was number 2 in August, no, in September even, and it fell to number 5 this month, number 6 if you combine all the Rotom forms together. So we're back in Saffron, and changing the lead since Suicune just had a level up, and we're off to Lavender once more. But, as I was about to say, Dragonite and Salamence are splitting the dragon flying usage more than they used to, so as a result it's Latias that's the most popular dragon nowadays. I don't know how long it's gonna last, but if that extreme speed trend keeps up, then Salamence could be in for a rather rough ride in the near future. I don't know if it's going to fall down as much as Blissey did this year, but still, somehow I doubt it. Even though people tend to use Dragonite more, Salamence is still the better dragon overall, and I think people are going to realize that eventually. And just to wrap up this topic, in Ubers, there wasn't too much change, save for one major one. Who got Brave Bird? And that was a major addition to its moveset. It has always been considered as a low-end Uber, but now it's more of a middle-end one. It ranked 13th in Ubers last month. So, as a result, you can imagine that Groudon usage increased a lot too in order to better support Who, and it increased so much that it's come rather close to matching Kyogre's totals. Another Pokemon we all kept an eye for was Rayquaza thanks to Air Slash, but it flopped tremendously. Less than 3.5% of all Rayquazas use Air Slash, though that can be attributed to Rayquaza's massive move pool to begin with. Alright, we're in Lavender Town, and no matter what the generation is, I seem to hate that song. Even in Heart Gold and Soul Silver, it's among the worst ones in the game. Anyway, this is Lavender Town, and it's changed a lot since we last saw it in Pokemon Red. Now, the graveyard has been replaced by a radio tower. That's right, they've desecrated a whole lot of monuments dedicated to dead Pokemon and made it into a radio tower. Then again, I guess it's not all that bad, because when we got there in Red there was some trouble with ghost Pokemon possessing channelers, so I guess it could be seen as okay. And obviously the zombie ghosts seem to have left this place, because now they can broadcast something else than a never-ending Thriller marathon. But right now they're broadcasting nothing, because have you heard? The power plant doesn't work, so I guess it's bomb for the radio tower. So I'm gonna check out what it's like inside, and it's a lot like the Goldenrod one actually. In fact, that screen seems to be practically identical. Okay, now I don't think I can get a channel dedicated to Pokéflute. You gotta love that. I mean, who would listen to that? I know I got the flyer for a Sirius satellite radio, and there are like 120 channels, and despite that number, the lineup is shit. You got a channel, for example, that's Eminem music 24/7. Come on, Eminem's entire repertoire doesn't take up more than a few hours. So that means, you know how in conventional radio you have the same songs over and over and over? Well, at least they have a massive amount of songs to choose from. Eminem? Not so much. Same for Bruce Springsteen. And we also got some stuff like 3 channels dedicated to Christian rock and pop. Who listens to that? And I could go on and on and on, like a NASCAR radio talk channel, but obviously there's no video game music channel. Come on, that's a theme that would rock. Imagine all the best video game music on a radio channel. That would be awesome! But instead, make way for Eminem 24/7, Christian rock, Christian pop. Well, that's gonna be enough for today. I'm so angry I can't even think straight anymore. So, see ya!